What's up, guys? My name's Ross. I trade futures on prop firms. I go by Ross Meds on TikTok. My Instagram is Ross Metzler, my full name. I've never really made a long form video like this, other than like some vlogs and stuff, which I still plan on posting. I have like 5 trips worth of footage from 2 years ago, which is crazy at this point. Time really flies by. I've been really just grinding out the short form stuff that's trading related as well as trading, and I'm working on another business with a buddy of mine. So I've been rather occupied with that. I haven't really got the chance to sit down and edit that. So that's largely besides the point. I made 2 videos yesterday and the day prior about revenge trading. Somebody in my TikTok comments was like, "You should post a YouTube video about this," or he said like, do you have a YouTube channel or something? I don't know, something along those lines. And I was like, you know what? That's a really good idea. I think I'll make a YouTube video about this. And please excuse the quality. I'm doing the best I can. I have a Sony a7 III, but I don't have this like streamer plugin thing that makes it have no latency and like the highest quality frame rate and whatever else. But it's besides the point. Today I'm going to be talking about revenge trading and why you can't stop doing it and how to fix it. So full disclosure, I did write out a script on a lot of different talking points. So if you see me reading over here, I'm just looking at some bullets that I wrote from the previous videos, as well as just some overall ideas that I had. So the first reason why you can't stop overtrading is because your brain hates uncertainty more than it hates losing. I know all the time I'll be on the charts and maybe it looks like a setup's presenting itself. Maybe the market conditions look a little bit unclear. That uncertainty is very anxiety inducing. In fact, this is proven by science. There was a 2016 study in Nature Communications where people were more stressed when they had an uncertain chance of getting shocked, like electrically shocked, rather than the people who knew for certain that the shock was coming. So the people who didn't know they were going to get shocked, maybe they were, maybe they weren't, it was very anxiety inducing for them. The people who knew that they were getting shocked, for certain, had less anxiety and less stress, which speaks a lot about who we are as humans, which obviously is something that's deeply rooted in psychology as well as trading. Trading is also deeply rooted in psychology. There's a large overlap there. So most of you guys, most traders, most people watching this video, they don't force trades because they're like, oh, this is an absolute perfect setup. Maybe I shouldn't be taking this, but it's still a perfect setup. No. You force the trade because sitting in that uncertainty feels very uncomfortable. You know, price is chopping, market conditions are not clean, you don't know what's going to happen, so your brain starts looking for relief. And as soon as you click that buy or sell button, you get the tiniest bit of dopamine, the tiniest bit of relief for just a second. And then you're in a trade. And what is that trade backed by? Nothing. Nothing at all. That's the trap. You're not taking a trade because, you know, your model is presenting itself and you have an edge. You're taking a trade because doing something feels better than waiting. The best traders and profitable traders, they sit in that discomfort and they can watch price move without needing to be involved. I've had weeks, a whole week, where I took maybe one trade and it was a break even. Maybe it was at the start of the week. And then the rest of the week, no subs present itself, I just sat there. And it sucks. It totally sucks. I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, I'm completely, you know, I have any, you know, complete apathy and zero emotion when I'm trading. And that I don't care about the outcome whatsoever. Because obviously I do care about the outcome. I want to succeed even more than I have. But you need to let that not affect you. Because when you don't have the discipline to sit there, then you're not going to be able to properly execute your model at all. And the only reason why that uncertainty is leaning on you is because there's stakes involved. In the example where people were getting shocked, you know, they are going to feel physical pain. In this scenario, you're going to feel mental pain. You're going to feel stress. You are going to feel unsuccessful. You're going to feel like your dream is slipping through your fingers. But the most important lesson is that just because market conditions are uncertain doesn't mean you need to let that uncertainty control you. Second reason, sorry, that was a very long-winded answer. I wasn't expecting it to be that long. But the second reason is that people think that revenge trading starts after the loss. That is not true at all. It starts the second that you feel like the market owes you something. I know when sometimes I take an L, I'm like, damn, that was such a stupid loss. Why did the market not go back to that 1 hour high? Or why did we not trade to that 15-minute gap where I was supposed to go break even? Or why did not trade to that internal high where we're supposed to go break even? I feel like the market owes me something at that point. I'm like, the market should have gone there. Why didn't it? And there's actually a term for this in gambling psychology, which obviously is a very, you're walking the line between trading and gambling depending how you trade. And it's loss chasing essentially is when someone keeps risking more money because they're trying to recover what they lost. That's exactly what happens in trading. The market, when you feel like the market owes you something and you take a red trade, your brain really stops thinking about its system. You're like, how can I make this money back? Or how can I, once you get back to break even, how can I make just a little bit more and you end up blowing the account? This is where you guys are getting cooked. You stop waiting for your actual setup that you've back tested and you start lowering your standards. You size up, you take entries you normally never touch. And, normally by that, I mean back testing, right? And back testing, you take a loss, it's like, okay, cool, I'm just collecting data. I'm just trying to see what my win rate is. I'm just trying to see what my average risk to reward is over a year of data. So why are you touching those entries that make no sense and have absolutely zero logic behind it? It's not because the chart is good. It's because you want the pain of that loss to go away. There's this image that I absolutely love. I've had it in my Discord since pretty much I started it, since the April 24th, 2025. So about 14 months ago, almost to the exact date, I posted a variant of this image here. And this is prospect theory from two people, one by the last name of Kahneman, the other one named Tversky. And they created this thing called prospect theory. And essentially what it says is that a loss of the same size will feel significantly worse and will have much more of a burden on you than a win of the same size. So what does that tell us? It tells us that the pain from that loss, even though it may be the same size as the win, is going to weigh on you significantly more. And that's exactly why one red trade, whether it's good or a good loss or a bad loss, can turn into 3 bad trades or 5 bad trades, or the account just being completely gone, completely blown. You threw all your rules out the window. So an important takeaway from that is, after the loss, the goal is not to make the money back immediately, because then you're no longer letting your statistical edge play out. Your goal after you take a loss should be protect your mental state, wait for the next setup if there is one, and make a clean decision after that. Because the second that you trade for closure, you're no longer really trading your model. The third reason here, you hate ending the day red. You guys see where this is going? You hate the day ending red. I mean, it's simple. It kind of plays off the last one I just talked about, the last reason. And it's simple, but it absolutely destroys unprofitable traders, or maybe even break-even traders, maybe even profitable traders. Who knows? You take a loss, and suddenly it feels like your entire day is ruined. Why? You need to let your statistics play out. It doesn't matter if the loss was a normal loss or not a normal loss. It doesn't matter if you followed your plan or not. It doesn't matter if the trade was valid. All you see is that red number. That red number starts bothering you, and you get into the down the rabbit hole of, I can't end the day like this. Why? Because you remember that you were green earlier, and you think about having to close the session off on a red day. It's like, my trade was up $200. I didn't quite get to break even yet. My trade's losing now. I was green. I could have just closed it. Stop. You start doing this mental math. Oh, one good trade, I'm back. One scalp, I'm fine. If I just catch the move back up, I can walk away. And you start spiraling. And that's the problem of, the whole saying, you got to get healthy the same way you get sick. That's bullshit. Excuse my language. That's complete garbage. It's not true because you're not waiting for your actual trade. You're just taking anything at all. And it feels like it's normal to be break even. It feels like you're doing the responsible thing. Oh, I'm just getting back to break even. No. You're not fixing your mistakes by doing this. You need to focus on your inputs. Be happy at the end of the day with your inputs. Be happy that I followed my model completely. Maybe you write that on a whiteboard 10 times. I don't know. If you take a loss, write on your whiteboard. This is your homework from me, from Professor Ross. I followed my rules and I'm happy even though I took a loss. Write that 10 times next time you take a loss. No, but in all seriousness, every real strategy has losses. That's just a part of trading. Every trader has losing days. And every single trading system, every single model goes through drawdown. The issue is not being read, it's refusing to be read. Real traders, obviously, profitable traders, they don't love losing. I absolutely hate losing. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't feel some sort of emotional tie to every trade that I take and to a loss. But what I don't do is let my emotions change my decision making. That's a bar. Clip that. I don't let those things change how I interact with the charts, whether or not I press buy or sell. You need to stay composed regardless of what happens. And the way to do that is, like I said, focus on your inputs. Be happy that you followed your rules exactly. Be happy that you managed your risk. Be happy that maybe you have the whole week ahead of you. And if you don't, then you have a weekend break ahead to reflect, to journal. And then you have the whole next week after that. Why? Just accept a red day. Small red day does not ruin you as a trader. You're not defined by one day. You're not defined by one trade. You're defined by your inputs. You're defined in the long term. So moving on. The fourth reason is that you're confusing movement with opportunity. Now, this is something that I think everyone kind of struggles with because it's really easy to confuse movement and displacement with the ability in, a trade presenting itself. You tell yourself you're going to be patient, then price starts moving fast towards your drawn liquidity, and instantly you start panicking. And the market starts running without you. And you're like, oh my gosh, I should be in this move. I knew this was going to happen. It's going to my drawn liquidity. I'm missing the move. This is where FOMO takes over. Fear of missing out, for those of you who don't know. And I cannot tell you how many times I've missed the move. It's just what happens. I can tell you probably there's been just as many times where I thought I was missing the move and price completely reversed. I would have gotten stopped out and screwed. It's just how it is. Just because price is moving fast doesn't mean that there's an opportunity there. A big candle does not automatically mean that you have some sort of edge in the market. And this is very dangerous, especially after a loss, because your standards are already even lower. Your standards are pretty low. If you're dealing with revenge trading, you see that big move, it's really tempting. I've blown a 5.5K payout. It was just after I had taken it was like 5.8K. I had built up my buffer, taken a payout, got their next set of winning days and then some, and I took a loss. I was like, damn, this was supposed to be, the day I got a payout. And I overtraded. And I saw price was moving in one way. This was in February, so February price action was something. But regardless, I saw price moving in one way. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to short. Price went straight up. Lost the entire account, the whole entire buffer. Could have taken 5.5K out. The next day, I lost like $300. All I needed was another winning day of $150. This was on Top Step. And I would have had, what? I would have had $450 less than I would have otherwise. Really? Really? That's stupid. Learn from my mistake, please. A move without your setup is not a trade. When you're calm, you're a good frame of mind, you can watch the move and say, that's not my setup. Price is moving, but that's not my setup. And this trade, when you're red, this trade, this move looks like a trade. It looks like an opportunity. But that's your brain tricking you. That's not the case. And you start treating every moving candle like a chance to recover. That's not the way to do it. Trust me, believe me on this one. You as a trader are not paid to catch every single move, every single displacement this way, and some crazy wick that way. No, that's not what you're you as a trader, that's not how you're getting paid. You're paid to be patient and to execute when your setup appears. Missing a move costs you nothing. Forcing a bad trade can cost you the day or even your account, which then you have to pass again. You have to put up real capital if you're on a prop firm. And if you're on a live account, then you just blew a ton of money. So the next time that price starts ripping after you take a loss, ask yourself the question, is this actually my setup? Or do I just want this to be my setup? Is this just convenient that price is moving so large? The displacement is large. Or is this my setup? Would it be convenient if I caught this move and got back to break even or green on the day, or maybe got a winning day? Or is this my setup that I've back tested, that I've proven wins over however much data? That question alone can save you from a terrible entry, can save you from a losing day, it can save you from losing your account. Now, the last reason, number 5, is you forget that losses are normal. Now, this sounds really obvious, right? But there's something called a statistical loss, right? Let's say you have a 66% win rate, 66.6. You win 2/3 of the time. That means you're going to lose 1/3 of the time. Just sit there and take the loss like a man. And if you're not a man, then take it like a woman, I guess. But most profitable traders can understand, actually every profitable trader can understand probability. Like I said, if you lose 1/3 of the time, that means the next time, 1/3 times 1/3, or multiply the denominator, you have a 1/9 chance of losing. It's the chance of having 2 losses in a row when you win 2/3 of your trades. Hope that's not confusing. But traders who are profitable, they've accepted this. They accepted their risk in theory, and they've accepted it emotionally. If this trade ends up in a loss, then I will be content. This is part of my model. This is a statistical loss. That's it. A lot of traders, they can't accept that emotionally. They accept it in theory. Yeah, I'm going to risk $350 on this trade. I'm risking 0.5% of my account. But you can't accept it emotionally. Before the trade, you knew it could lose. You knew the trade could lose. Every trade has the opportunity to lose. But deep down, you still expected it to work. And that's normal. That's psychology. A lot of the time, I expect my trades to win because I'm confident in my model. And when it loses, I'm like, okay, today was not the day. The setup just didn't play out today. And I go back and I look and I journal, is there something I missed? Is there something I could have done better? Something I could have done different? If not, then I'm like, okay, this is the 1/3 of the trades that I lose. And this is reflected live as it is in backtesting. Losing trade doesn't mean that your edge is broken. Doesn't mean that you're a bad trader. Doesn't mean that you need to completely switch models or change your existing model. It's just probability doing what probability does. And it just plays out. Like I said, why are you not thinking about it opposite? You take 2 wins, take a few wins, and then you have a loss. For example, 2. And then you take a loss. It's like, okay, I took 2 wins, I took 1 loss. That's my model playing out exactly how it should. I executed it exactly how it should. The problem is that most traders judge their strategy trade by trade, which is not how you should be doing it. Like I said before, one trade does not define you as a trader. One day does not define you as a trader. But for some reason, 1 loss feels like evidence. 2 losses in a row feels like, your world is falling apart. And 3 losses feels like all hell is breaking loose. You're going to end up working some dead-end job until you're 65. Stop thinking like that. You cannot judge your system from one singular trade. You cannot judge your discipline from one outcome. You need to judge your trading by whether or not you followed the process. Like I said before, are you focused on your inputs? Did you wait for the setup? Did you strictly define your risk? Did you trade for the right reason? Did you accept the outcome, win or loss? Did you stay composed after? Trading is not something that should ruin your entire day. Like, when I take a win, yeah, I'm definitely going to the gym all happy and I'm listening to music on the way, whipping in my car. Like, I'm gonna be having a great time. If I take a loss, if it's a sunny day out, I'm doing the same exact thing. I don't care. I don't care. Like, yeah, sure, it sucks. And I may think about later in the afternoon when I'm cooking up some food, I'll be like, oh, damn, I forgot my trade lost today. Like, all right, cool. On to the next day. Tomorrow, let's see if we can make it better. A loss is something that you should be able to emotionally afford. And if you cannot spare any sort of, I guess, emotional capital in your life, throughout every single day, then you need to kind of step away from trading. Or you need to be resilient enough to just suck it up. That's it. You don't need a win to stay mentally stable. It's not how you should be trading. You can lose and still be following your plan. You can be red and still be patient. You can miss a move and still wait for your edge. That is what consistency looks like. If you keep revenge trading, stop only focusing on the entry. Because what if your model didn't present itself, you took an entry, trade could have easily, like I said before, gone in the complete opposite direction. That's happened to me so many times. The emotional spiral after you go down this pipeline is what is destroying your accounts. So those are the 5 reasons. This is definitely a long video. We've been here for 22 minutes. There are a lot of avoidable losses that I could have had throughout my trading career, if you will. And I could have saved myself a lot of time, a lot of money. And not only that, I could have had a lot more money in my bank account. That sure would be nice. Growing up comes with its expenses. You need an engine service in your car, an oil change. You need your differential bushing to be replaced, and they have to drop the entire drive shaft. Those things are expensive. Don't just treat money like it's nothing. It's easy to see a number on the screen that, your trade's up $600. It's easy to be like, oh, 600, whatever. That's cool. It's average winning day, whatever. It's real money. It's money that if you're unfunded, in a couple days time, that you can request, if you built your buffer, that entire amount, depending on the firm. Or maybe it's 50% of that amount with a 90-10 split. It's real money. If you're unfunded, you're doing this. Stop revenge trading. Stop, please. Like, it makes me peeved about all the avoidable losses I could have taken and how much further ahead I could be right now. Because I would have posted on social media earlier. My social media following would have grown more. And maybe I would have made more YouTube videos. Maybe I would have met more and even cooler people. I love the people around me. They're cool and they're awesome. I'm very happy with them. But I mean, get the opportunity to meet a bunch of other awesome people. Not that maybe came across wrong, but you guys get the point. These things are largely very avoidable. And all that revenge trading is going to do is set you back further. And maybe, if the odds are in your favor, maybe you get a win. Revenge trading. But what does that teach you? It just reinforces bad habits. It's like, the dog sees the mailman, starts barking. And if you give him a treat after that, the dog's going to keep barking at the mailman. Doesn't mean that's something acceptable. Doesn't mean that's something you should do. What some dog owners do, they'll spray the dog with water because the dog's like, oh, I don't like being sprayed with water. That's how you should feel when you revenge trade. You should feel like, oh, damn, that sucks. You should have post-revenge trade clarity and be like, damn, I feel like an idiot. Why did I take that trade? Why did I just blow my account? And then you just have to sit there with no accounts, just blown a payout. Maybe if you haven't even got to the point where you're able to get a payout, you just blew your funded account that you just passed, that you worked so hard for. It's your first funded account ever. And you're so scared of losing and you took an L. Don't reinforce those bad habits, because there are countless reasons. Everything I just said in this video and all of the anecdotal and I guess like the emotional testimony that I gave, those are all reasons to do it. Don't just think about it for yourself either. Don't think about it from a greedy, selfish reason. It's like, if you're a man around my age, I'm 22 years old, chances are, sooner rather than later, you're going to have people relying on you. And it's like, if you really want to make this trading thing work, you kind of got to lock it in. And if, you're a little bit younger than me, it's like, maybe you're in school, maybe you're not in school. Maybe, you're in high school and you're not even 18, you have an account open in your parents' name. It's like, the stakes are real. Life is real. You can't just live under your parents' roof forever. I'm living at home right now. I was living in my apartment downtown, in the city of Chicago. Super nice. Now, Chicago is extremely expensive. It's kind of besides the point. I mean, not it's expensive in New York, but they wanted my rent to be like $3,200 for a studio. I'm like, all right, screw that. I'm not paying that. And summer prices, I don't need to justify myself. It's besides the point. I do plan on moving soon-ish. Besides the point. Chances are, if I had picked up trading a little bit sooner, locked in a little bit sooner, stopped revenge trading, stopped being a dumbass, maybe I still would have been living there. Now, I did just buy an M3, but, that was a change of priorities. It was like, okay, live at home, buy a cool whip, or live downtown and have all my money, not all my money, but you get what I'm saying, like have a ton of my money get just wasted away towards rent expenses. And I like to eat steak for pretty much every single day. Life gets expensive. Life is real. You are, like I was saying before, if you're going to high school or coming out of high school, is college the right path for you? If you are going down the trading path, it's like, how long do you plan on living at home? You're only setting yourself back. I'm just trying to show you the real consequences of this. It's like, maybe you're saving up for, an F80 M3. Oh, I just unplugged my monitor. Maybe you're saving up for an F80 M3 or a G80, or you want to save up for a nice trip for you and your girlfriend. It's like, okay, lock it in. The money's not just going to come from you from being a gambler. There's really no other way to do it other than to get through it, to lock in, to work hard, to be disciplined. So, anyways, sorry about that little tangent at the end there. I hope you guys got value out of this video. I had my feet up on my file cabinet and my feet slipped off and it unplugged my monitor, so that's why the light's so dark. A ton of light was coming off my monitor, but nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a very long video. I've never made a long form video like this where I'm just yapping to a screen, I guess, into a microphone and whatever else, but I really do hope that this was beneficial for you guys, and I wish you all the absolute best. I will pray for every single one of you guys, and God bless. Stop revenge trading. Peace.